We're going to call up a special guest who has come here to talk to you about some of his experiences. So I'd like to introduce Jim. Come on up. Come join us in the middle here. Oh, thank you.
Jim, thank you.
My pleasure.
Today.
My pleasure. Hello. Hi. My name is Jim Sullivan, and Prostate Cancer Canada asked me to be involved and participate today. Don't mind my Movember growth.
Looks good.
Looks
great.
good.
Thanks.
So what we're doing is sweet potatoes. This is going to be similar to almost a pumpkin pie, but obviously, you can use pumpkin in this. We're using sweet potatoes. Crust, very, very easy, very simple. None of that store-bought stuff. We're actually making a base with oats and Brazil nuts.
Okay.
You can use any type of nuts here. I know Christy loves the Brazil nuts. She's going to tell you about them. So those are going to go in. Food processor. Get rid of this. And if you wouldn't mind adding, no eggs. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Okay, we're going to start off with the flax egg. You can use. Have you ever heard of a flax egg?
No.
Flax egg, no. Flax egg. It's a great substitute in baking for regular egg. So you can use a regular egg here. Flax egg is pretty much 1 part ground flax to 3 parts water.
Okay.
When you mix it, when you let it sit for just a couple minutes, it thickens up, and you have this consistency of almost egg white. You can kind of see there. And
Looks
that
like a wet oatmeal.
or a wet oatmeal. Doesn't look that pleasant, but that's going in.
Flax seeds are another one of those kind of hot topic foods in breast cancer and in prostate cancer because they contain something called ligands, which do kind of affect, or they think may have an effect similar to estrogen. So again, affecting the sex hormones, may have an impact on some of these hormone-sensitive cancers. But the research has shown, again, including some flax seeds or flaxseed oil as part of a healthy diet actually has a protective effect. It's when you go for mega doses and you're drinking the oil and pouring it all over everything that you're actually having an impact on hormone levels. So not to worry about adding something like a flax egg.
So a couple tablespoons of grapeseed oil.
Right.
And we had, this is if you want to sweeten up a little bit, we have a little bit of just organic cane sugar. And we're going to blend it up. And this is pretty much, think of like a graham cracker crust. Once it starts to form almost a ball, you can kind of see it. There it goes. Once it stops pretty much. It forms almost like a dough. And what I'm going to get you to do, Jim, is just kind of pour that out with that spoon into your baking dish of choice. And you just form it. You can use your hands or use a spoon and just press it in there. It is the fastest dough for a pie that you will ever make. Yeah, if it's a non-greased, like if it's just a regular glass pan or something like that, yeah, you can grease it with just a little bit of grapeseed oil again. Just kind of rub it in there so it doesn't stick. And you know what? I'm not a big crust guy when it comes to pie. I've had arguments with a lot of pie connoisseurs. I like the filling. But this,
up the side too.
Yeah, a little bit up the side doesn't have to be perfect. This is again one of those dishes.
We like to do rustic baking where it's not going to be fussy. You don't have to have the precise amount or weigh it on a scale. We're just throwing everything in. It's going to turn out delicious. It's going to look great.
And so,
easy going.
While Jim's got the crust going, I had some sweet potatoes in the oven. This you're going to cook very much like we did the squash at the beginning. Slice them in half. You just leave the skins on. You flip them, cut side down on a baking tray, and 375. Sweet potatoes take a little bit longer than the squash. It takes about maybe 30 minutes, 35 minutes, just until you feel them. They're nice and soft. And because of that natural sugar in there, you get this, again, beautiful caramelization. That's the word of the day, caramelization. And that's it, 2 sweet potatoes. Let them cool. Scoop them out. And you have your puree in there.
Jeremy, I think you're going to get a run for your money, and Jim's going to take over as the chef.
Yeah.
Look at this pie.
Wow. I'm
blue.
missing.
We'll talk after.
Okay. I'm sorry, did you leave the skin on in that?
No, so I took it off. Now you can leave the skin on and pulverize it. You're gonna get. It's up to you. You're gonna have some of those, obviously, those fibrous bits kind of through there, but you can definitely leave the skin off.
A lot of the fiber is going to be in the skin. So, like we said, the fiber is an important nutrient. In this recipe, I don't know if you want really fibrous bits in your pie.
And you're gonna have a lot of fiber in that crust as well.
It's going to be definitely packing in the fiber. But in terms of the texture of the dish, I want to keep those sweet potato skins, and then you can kind of preserve some of that flesh and mix it with a nice, light ricotta or light Greek yogurt and restuff it and make, a separate side dish that you can take for lunch the next day.
Both? Yeah, both. 2 eggs. So sweet potato is going to go in that same food processor. Nice one-handed.
Wow.
Showing me up on stage here. Very good, Jim.
Yeah.
He's been practicing all week. Just one-handed.
I've baked before.
Maple syrup. Do
shows.
you like maple syrup?
You got shots?
Yeah. I feel the same way. So maple syrup, half a cup. You're gonna eyeball that. So half a cup. Now that you're cracking eggs with one hand, I'm pretty sure.
Jeremy's jealous, I could tell.
And we're gonna add some ricotta cheese. This is light ricotta cheese. This is not typical in more of your southern, states sweet potato pie. This is the Italian influence here. So they usually use cream, or there's a lot of butter usually in sweet potato pie. I find the ricotta cheese, it adds a beautiful richness and creaminess to it without that heaviness of a butter or a cream. So ricotta cheese in. Am I missing something? Oh, spices. Yes, your regular pumpkin spices, cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, clove, ground ginger.
Mace?
Yeah. Any of your kind of warm, Christmas spices that you're thinking of, whatever you want,
Nice.
goes in. And actually, you can throw that in there. Perfect. And that's it. Whiz it up just until it comes binds. And that's it. That's gonna go. And if you wanna, Jim, you wanna pour that right into the pie shell. And this is, cooking the sweet potato again. That's the hardest part here. This takes 2 seconds. Yeah, you can put. So this is again optional. I like dates. You can put some dates. You can put some more chopped Brazil nuts in there. You can put some pecans. If you just like it smooth consistency, leave it as is.
Now with your dates, are you soaking them first, or?
You don't have to soak them.
Because we're gonna bake it off?
Yeah, you're gonna bake it off. Sometimes you have dates, that have been sitting a while that become rock hard. Those you probably want to, unless you want a lawsuit, you probably want to soak them.
You're going to break your food
Break some
processor.
teeth. Dates tend to stick together, so it's not the easiest thing. And then that's gonna go into the oven. One thing actually I didn't mention, and again, it's up to you. You can pre-bake that shell for about 7 minutes. It doesn't take long. It's not like a regular pie dough shell, just to get a little bit of a crispiness on it. And then it's going to go into the oven 350 for about 30 minutes or so. And again, transformation. This is what Jim has prepared ahead of time. Send it in.
Thanks, Jim.
It looks like a pumpkin pie. Really, really nice, delicious. Little take on a winter classic, some American Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
There.
As Jeremy hinted at with our sweet potato pie, there's a superfood that we incorporated.
Good job.
Can anyone guess what it
Fantastic.
is?
Amazing.
It's in the crust as a hint. The Brazil nut, yeah. So the reason I'm focusing on the Brazil nut is it contains quite a bit of selenium, which is another nutrient that's been extensively studied in prostate cancer prevention and preventing the growth of prostate cancer cells. So one Brazil nut contains 100% of the selenium that you need to get in a day.
Just one?
Just one. That's all you need. So have a slice of this sweet potato pie. You're probably getting, enough of this. You can also find selenium in, poultry, fish and seafood products. It's found in the soil, so you'll get some selenium in some of the grain products that you eat as well.
And so, Jim did a fantastic job. I'm going to give a little round of
It
applause.
looks great.
That looks delicious. So that's the finished product, and you can leave it as is. One little thing I'd like to add in the end is a little bit of pomegranate. And I was just asking Jim if he knew the pomegranate trick. I know we've done this a few times before. So you just cut it in half, and instead of kind of peeling through it, you can hold. Yeah, exactly. And then you get your frustration though, and you just kind of hit the bottom, and
They fall
That's
right out of
cheating.
there.
yeah,
You know, you gotta
no,
hurt your fingers. You gotta pull that apart.
make a mess everywhere.
Oh,
The
yeah.
way
No,
I
it's
do
it.
it, my whole counter is covered in bright red. So that's
And
awesome.
it looks really nice at the end, nice little crunch of that pomegranate. And there it is, our maple sweet potato pie.